What up, guys? Welcome to Base Damage. Hope y'all are having an awesome day today. I got another deck profile for you on the Bang Dream side of things. There's a lot more to be worked on and eventually come out, so we will see how much of y'all get sick of me doing Bang Dream stuff. It's whatever. But today I wanted to bring to you a primarily mono-red deck with a primarily Kasumi themed setup here, but it is really fun, and I'm not gonna lie, it's got some expensive cards in here. I know I put see, I like to put an emphasis on a lot of budget decks, but the expensive cards in here are obviously the level 1 Happy Christmas Kasumi that I picked up each of them for less than $5 when they first came out. They're like, at the time of the recording of this video, people were trying to get like $30 a pop for them, and I've seen like no postings. So, at least at the time that I'm recording this is a fairly expensive deck because of 4 cards. So 30 times 4 is $120, you know, that's if you wanted to try to do that. But otherwise, there's not a lot of expensive cards in here. A lot of the other cards in here are fairly cheap, at least from what I've seen. And I think really the only other expensive card in here is like one of the level 3 Kasumis that's like $7 or $8 or something like that. I ended up having to like buy one more copy online, and it wasn't that bad. So, but I do try to primarily put a budget setup for this, but this deck didn't cost me that much. This deck costs me way the fuck less. So anyway, let's get right into this. Like I said, it's primarily red. There's all of like 5 blue cards, and that's it. So obviously we have a couple promos as well. So if you wanted to make this, there's like a couple shop promos you can easily grab, and it's just they're everywhere. So 2 copies of Sparkling Kasumi is a 002K. On play, you can you reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a music character or an event named something in the warehouse, you can add that card to your hand and then discard 1 card from your hand. So a little bit of hand filtering, really good. And the fact that this is the only event in here, in the deck primarily focuses around this event so much, it's insane. You might as well just call this something in the warehouse deck, but something in the waiting room deck. I don't know if but because of that, the only thing that you won't actually add to your hand is the climaxes in the deck, and that's it. So then we have 2 copies of Twinkle Star Kasumi when she dies. So when she gets sent from the stage to the waiting room, you can well, she's a 0025, sorry. When she dies, you can pay 1 stock and deal yourself a damage from the top of the deck to add any one of the Poppin' Party Girls from your waiting room, any one of the Poppin' Party Girls from your waiting room to your hand. So you can add a Kasumi, a Tai, a Rimi, a Saya, or a, I'm forgetting the last one, or Kasumi, Rimi, Tai, Saya, or Arisa. That's what it was. I forgot about Arisa for a second there. She's in here actually, but I forgot about her. So any of them, you can add back 1 of those from your waiting room to hand. 2 copies of A New Start Saya. On play, she has 2 on-play abilities. The first effect is mandatory. You have to mill the top 2 cards of your deck. If there's a climax amongst them, you can choose one of your other characters. That character gets 1500 power for the turn. And on play, you can pay 1, discard a card, add back a music character from your waiting room to your hand, and choose one of your other characters and give it 1000 power. So buffs all around with these effects. But you can choose the order in which you do the on-play effects. So in case you're about to refresh or whatever, you can do the salvage effect first before you refresh, and then do her mill, and you'll refresh off of that, whatever. So, but that way you can, because you can choose the order. I've been in that situation before where I have like exactly 2 cards left in my deck, but I want to salvage first. So because of that timing, you can do that, which is really cool. 4 copies of this 002K Rimi, which she's a free runner. At the beginning of your opponent's attack phase, you can move her to an open position of your center stage. Fairly simple and very good. I highly recommend grabbing 4 copies of this. One of the MVPs of the deck, and I'll explain in a bit here, I very much enjoy this, is 00500 Lunch Break Tai. She's a 500 assist to the characters in front of her, but she has a built-in encore effect. When one of your characters is sent from the waiting rooms to the field, you can sack her. You can basically send her to the waiting room and encore back that character. It's very, very useful for your level 1 combo, and I'll explain when we get to that, but very, very good. I find myself Getting her back with a lot of the salvage effects in here, I end up getting her back a whole bunch to be able to use. Very underrated, I feel, but very, very powerful card. 2 copies of 001500 Way Home Arisa. First ability is, at the beginning of your climax phase, you can mill the top card of your deck, and if it's a climax, all of your characters get 500 power till the end of your opponent's next turn. As well as she's the brainstormer of the deck. But this deck mills so much, you don't need to brainstorm so much, but she's very, very good to have. Pay 1, rest 2 of your characters, mill 4 for every climax, search your deck for a music character. Just freaking awesome. So we have 5, 9, plus 6 is 15. I think I added that up right. I could be wrong. So, alrighty, over there. Next, we're getting into the level 1s. Let's go ahead and knock out the obvious elephant in the room, and that is the bustedness that is Happy Christmas Kasumi. This is the reason I like that tie so much. Her first effect is up to twice per turn when a music character gets played from your hand to the stage. She gets 1,000 power until end of turn. So we'll get to her climax combo in a second, but just to quickly iterate. So she's really useful if you already have a copy of her, you have the tie back row, this gets killed or whatever, you can sack this off so she's already on your field by the time the next turn. One, save her and you ain't got to worry about paying stock or whatever. But being able to have her out when you go to play your other music characters for her to get her buff is really, really awesome. As well as just being able to save like some of your early plays or just really big characters in general, that tie is really good. But that's primarily what I use her with, is comboing with this Kasumi. Next is her climax combo with Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. No, I'm not making that up. That is seriously what the card's name. Watch the anime. When she attacks, if you have Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, you can add back a copy of something in the warehouse from your waiting room to your hand. So you just get to reuse this over and over. Cool thing, just to mention real quick, for anyone who's like, oh, but anti-salvage. Anti-salvage effects with Hatsukaze and Sitting Mikan only work if you grab back a character. So, admittedly, this deck has 8 salvage triggers, so sure, I have to watch out for that. But her effect, because it grabs back an event and not a character, will not trigger the anti-salvage effect of Hatsukaze or Sitting Mikan. So your damage is safe. You actually do not have to worry about that with this climax combo. It's not like some of the on-reverse salvagers that you see in a lot of other like decks or whatever. Because of that, it makes it just that much better. And one of the reasons it's actually so good. Let's go ahead and knock out the other obvious thing that people are like, well, why is this thing so good? 4 copies of something in the warehouse, straight up. When you play it, flip over the top 3 cards of your deck. For every music character amongst them, send them to your waiting room. For every music character amongst those 3 cards that you mill, you can add back 1 music character from your waiting room whose level equals the number of music characters or less that you revealed from your waiting room to your hand. So you mill 3. You got 2 music characters. You can add back 1 music character that is level 2 or lower from that back to your hand. So you get to mill through the deck a whole bunch and just salvage back. It replaces itself. Even if you don't end up milling any music characters, because if you mill 0, you can still add back a level 0 and then just do more shenanigans from there. Because there's a lot of good level 0s in this deck. 4 copies of it, most definitely. Also because more cards combo off of it. Hell, here's one right here, which is Happy Halloween Kasumi. So 1/0 3K. When she gets played, you can take something in the warehouse and put it from the waiting room, put it under her as a marker. While she has that marker, she gets plus 3,500 power, and then if she's in the middle center stage, middle center of the center stage, she gets the ability that on reverse of the battle opponent, you can pay 1 stock, deal yourself a damage, and salvage back a music character. See, that would trigger Hatsukaze anti-salvage. But most of the time, mostly because of how big she'll get with her effect, she becomes a 1/0 65 constant, which is freaking awesome. Then you have 3 copies of this 1/6K Saya and Rimi. It has an experience effect. If your experience is 2 or higher, she gets 1500 power and character encore. Really awesome. And lastly, for level 1s is 3 copies of this 1045 Kasumi. It is a Taige clone, so for every of your other music characters, she gets plus 500 power. So full field, she gets plus 2000, so she's a 1065 as well. See the theme going on here with like 1065s when all their effects go off? It's freaking awesome. So 3, 6, 8 plus 8 is 16 level 1s. So really fun. Going on to the level 2s. Only got 3 level 2s here. We have this 2/1/6500 Rimi. Her main use is the fact that she is a anti-change reverser. If she gets reversed by a battle opponent whose level is higher than your opponent's level, you can reverse that character. Sure, they can still save their character, but it makes it so they have to expend resources. Why the fuck not would you not play that? Also, when she attacks, frontal or side, doesn't matter, you can choose one of your other music characters and give it 1500 power for every event card in your waiting room. So for every one of the something in the warehouses, you could do a plus 15. Do the math. You got 2, that's plus 3k to one of your other music characters. If you have all 4 in there, that's 6,000 power, which is freaking awesome. So just really good, and I like the buff, and she's coming real handy with the whole anti-change effect. Lastly is 2 copies. This is also one of the other shop promos. It's a 2/1 2500 backup for 1 stock. When you use the backup, you reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is a music character, let me make certain this doesn't say event as well. Yeah, if it's a music character, you can add that card to your hand and then discard 1 card. So it's like the Lv1 backup from SAO. Sadly, it doesn't count for events as well. Otherwise, that'd just be too fucking busted. But so you do have to worry about if you hit events off of that, but at the same time, you don't care. It's whatever. Now we get into the level 3s. This is kind of a level 2, I guess, so I technically have more level 2s. This is the early play Happy Christmas Saya. If the number of your other music characters is 4 or more, she gets -1 level in hand. She heals 1 on play, and if you have 2 or more other music characters, she gets 1000 power. You're going to have that. Might as well just say early play healer, and very, very good at that. So one of the things I definitely like to see early on. Next, we're getting into the combos of the deck for the finishers and whatnot. We have 2 copies of this level 3, 2 cost, 2 soul, 10k Kasumi Toyama, and she has a climax combo with the other climax of the deck, which is Starbeat. Starbeat has 2 different iterations of it. One's like a stock soul from the waiting room. I think that's what it did. But this is the 1k1 salvage, and I prefer this a lot more. But let's see here. 3 effects. First off is on play, you can draw 2, then discard 2 cards, then blind stock 1 card from the top of your deck to your stock. So, really cool. Her climax combo actually has an errata because it doesn't actually state where you summon from, but it's from the hand. So when you play Starbeat, you can choose a music character, one of the pop and party, one of the character with music or Asuka in its name, and from your hand and summon it to the stage. So you get to basically play a level 3 for free. So you just pop that right now. Done. Also, at that point, if you do that, if there's an on-play effect, like healing or whatever, that goes off. It's really cool. But it doesn't actually state where you summon it from, but that's the errata on it. Her last effect is, on attack, you can pay 4 stock, mill the top card of your deck, the level of that card +1, attempt to burn your opponent for that much. Let me make certain level of the card +1. Yeah. So you get a little bit of a variable burn there, but it's for 4 stock, so you kind of have to use it sparingly if you want to make certain that it goes off. But that 4 stock is hefty, but that has won me some games. Lastly is 4 copies of this new Kasumi from the second set. Sound of the Beginning Kasumi is a 3/2, 10k, 2 soul. First off, on play, heal 1. So if you summon her off of this level 3 Kasumi here, you can heal 1. Really cool. Her climax combo is also with Starbeat, so you get both of those. There's synergy. When this attacks, if you have Starbeat, you can pay the cost, which is 2 stock and discarding a red card. If you do, this card gets 3000 power, until the end of your opponent's next turn, and deal X damage to your opponent for each of these something in the warehouses. X is equal to the number of something in the warehouses in your waiting room. So depending on how many of those events you have in your waiting room, you can burn from 1 to 4, which is fucking awesome. And because you discard a red card off of that, you can actually control how many you have in there. If you have another one in hand, you're like, okay, well, I only have 1 in there. I want to burn you for 2. Swing, pay the cost, pitch 1, burn for 2. Really cool. So being able to add to that is really, really good. That's it for the level 3s. I got 8. The only change I would make, and this is just a test really, would be if I could get 1 more copy of her to make it 3 of this Kasumi and 3 of her. But I only had 2 really to mess with. But if I did want to change something just to test, that would be it. Otherwise, we have 4 copies of Starbeat Salvage Trigger and 4 copies of Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. And that is the deck. Thank you all very much for watching. This is definitely one of those decks I've had a lot of fun with. I've had a lot of fun with Bang Dream in general. This is just a really awesome set, straight up. More deck profiles to come, absolutely. We will be experimenting with a couple other builds of various things. But thank you all very much for watching. Please subscribe if you want. If not, hey, just thanks for stopping by to check out the channel. It's greatly appreciated, and I hope y'all have an awesome day. We will see y'all on the flip side. Peace out for now.